Well, welcome everybody. Can you believe the topic? How to deal with your phone photos when you have too many? I mean, is there anybody who on the planet that doesn't have too many phone photos? I can't imagine there is anybody like that. So welcome. My name is Cathi Nelson. I'm the CEO and founder of the Photo Managers. This is our YouTube channel, the Photo Managers. If you haven't subscribed to us, please go ahead and subscribe. It's really helpful to have subscribers joining us. And we have an amazing level of different YouTube live events we'll be bringing to you every month, and especially in the month of September. And so we are here with one of my favorite people, Kimberly Melton. She's been a member of the Photo Manager since 2020. We became immediate friends. You'll know in a minute when you get to learn from her why that would have happened. She's a certified photo manager and also a certified privacy advocate. She also was one of the winners of our 2024 Rising Tide Awards, which is what we do at our conference every year. Your members, colleagues, the colleagues of the Photo Managers nominate 3 different members who amplify or what we care most about, which is a rising tide lifts all boats, and we're collaborative, not competitive. So they nominate their peers who they feel like best do that. And Kimberly was our winner last year. So she also teaches photo organizing courses through Duke University, has a huge list of clients that she's worked closely with, and I know will give you a lot of great information today in this presentation. So let's bring Kimberly on.
Hey there, I'm super glad to be with you. It's like 2 old friends. Nobody else is watching, so.
All right, so we will let you, I think we're taking questions at the end. Is that probably better? Kimberly will hold questions.
I believe that is good, and I would love everybody to put whether you have an Android or an iPhone in the chat.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, fun thing to do. I know, because it is 2 different worlds out there.
Yeah, they kind of they're brothers and sisters, but they're definitely different.
I have this. Which one is the sister and which one's the brother?
Yeah, we're not going to say which one's our favorite because that is immaterial.
Oh, not a favorite. Not a favorite. Just which is so. All right. Well, I'll let you take it from here, and we'll see what.
Thank you so much, and everybody, I'm super happy to be here today. I've spoken on this topic many times, and to do it in a couple of minutes is a little overwhelming. So we're going to hit the high notes, but of course, if I can help you, then, just give me a shout and I'd love to chat. So we're going to get started on my presentation, and I will share my screen. Give me 1 minute. It's always that telephony stuff. There we go. And we're good there. And we're good there. Okay, great. We got everything ready. So I am a photo manager, as Cathi said, and I handle lots of kinds of photos and different topics for different people and help them with their project. So for instance, I help people with their phones and digital images, their printed photos. I help them get the stuff off their computers and old media like slides, VHS, DVD, all that kind of stuff. And also photo books and, oh, thank you. Photo books and also film, just a bunch of stuff. So believe me, I have gone through everything that y'all might be going through with your phone or even just your project. And everybody's project is completely different. So let's go ahead and get started so we can talk about everything. So I never start without thanking my grandma Nellie. She and I used to sit on the front porch of her farmhouse and flip through albums, and she would tell me stories about her family. And we started doing genealogy when I was in the 4th grade, and we continued throughout her lifetime. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us, but she's the one that got me started. And the love of photos and the love of gathering information and sharing it with my family, I love that. Absolutely love that. So let's get started with the main topic. Overwhelmed. Everyone is overwhelmed with the amount of photos that we have, and organizing them is not easy. But today, we will give you some helpful hints on how to deal with so many photos. And not only are we going to talk about photos and how you can get them off your phone, I'm going to introduce you to some tools for your project toolbox that might help you do a little bit more than you even know about now. So let's get started. I'm a photo geek, so I'm going to bring in that in 1826 was the very first photo taken, and it had an 8-hour exposure time. But the first makeshift camera phone was actually taken on June 11th in 1997 by Philip Kahn. He was a geek. He brought in his computer, his flip phone, his camera, his everything, and put it on when his daughter was born. But 1997, that seems so long ago. Well, not really. People are overwhelmed with the amount of photos. In 1830, we took 1 billion pictures a year. And in 2011, we took 3.8 billion. But in 2020, we took 1.43 trillion photos a year. But yet it seems like even when we still had film, we were organized. The reason why we were organized is because everybody did exactly the same thing. We shot our camera, we took our film to the photo mat, we made albums, and we shared those albums like my grandma Nellie did, or we left them in the little packet and we stacked them in a box. And everybody did exactly the same thing. But when the digital phone camera came in 2020, there was no system, there was no plan, there was no way that we would really understood how we could get organized with our photos. We swung away from photo albums, and we took 5 of everything versus just taking photos on major occasions. So here are some tips and tricks that I'm going to give you today on how to organize your camera roll, how to get it deleted, and how, no matter whether you're Android or iPhone, and to be able to help you. Now, our first big tip is delete is not a dirty word. I promise. We can all do hard things and we can delete some of our photos. And we're going to be deleting a lot of photos because you know about 1/3 of those photos on your camera you don't really need. So remember that, because that's super important, but we're going to talk about how to do that. And the other tool I want to give you for your toolbox is just Google it. Well, what do I mean? You're going to be sitting there trying to figure out how to do something, or I'm going to mention something in this program, and then you're going to say, how did she say how to do that? Google it. I do it several times a week because I'm still running into things that I'm unfamiliar with or I don't know about. And most of the time you can go in and say, on my Android Galaxy phone, I'm trying to find the delete button. Where is it? And you'll be given that information because somebody else has already asked that question. The next major thing I want to give you is you need to find out what's right for you, and there is no right answer. So the 3 situations that occur when you are working on a project is time, energy, and money. So you may have lots of time, but you have no energy to go through the photos and to do anything with them. Or you might not have the money, but you got plenty of time. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You have to choose what's right for you, what's right for your skills, service, and your skills, and then figure it out. So now let's get started on the detail stuff. This is the fun part. There are 7 steps to organizing your phone photos, and we're going to go over each step. And then also I'm going to give you, in our short period of time, the backup for each one of those. So first one is safety. Safety on your phone is absolutely important. If you're going to work on your project, we want to make sure those photos on your phone are safe. The second one is set your goals and deadlines. Number 3, select the items for your project. Sort your items in one place. Separate and dedupe. Save your phone and photos with the 3-2-1 backup system that we're going to talk about. And then share your hard work with your family and friends, which is my personal favorite. That's the one I get excited about. Now, I also want to bring up another point. in my presentation today, you can see the link in the right lower corner. What that means is that you can go to my website, sign up for my newsletter, and you're going to get that today. Any place that we have that blue link in our discussion today, I've already got it written down. You don't need to worry about it. You can just watch this presentation and have a good time. So, safety. Two-factor authentication is one of the many things that I really want you to understand that's important to save your phone and your photos. So if you have the way to do two-factor authentication, i.e. when you have your iPhone, when you have your Android, so you would put a code in and they would send you a link and then you have access to it. Please always use two-factor authentication when you can, as well as the longest password over 12 characters would be great. So that's your safe mode. Now, our second one is set. And in many ways, I think that this is the hardest one of them all, to set your goals and deadlines. Somebody's goal might be that they produce a photo book for their family of the vacation they took last year to Mexico. Somebody else's might be that they want everything in order. Somebody else's might be that they just don't want to pay for the storage to their iCloud anymore, and they need to delete some photos and to get some off. And how do I do that? You need to figure out for you what your goals are for your particular project so that you have that goal as you're working on it. The other thing we want to talk about is selecting photos for your project. They can be hiding anywhere. Now, you might say, well, I thought we were just talking about photos on our phone. Well, we are, but your photos can be in different places. For instance, last week, I had a client that I had pulled down her photos for her, and I looked, and in 2020, she had 2 photos, and in 2022, she had 23. But the rest of them were well over 500 in each, and I knew there was an issue. What happened was she had taken the photos off her phone and placed them somewhere else and didn't even remember she did that until we had the conversation. So I was able to retrieve those and be able to complete her project. I know one time myself, I didn't realize I put some photos in Google Photos that I was sharing with a friend when we were doing an album together. And this was years ago. And yet I happened to go on Google Photos one and I went, oh my gosh, I had no idea those photos were there. So all these websites are different places that photos can be. And you just take a moment, just think about it, maybe where you've put them or anything that you've done with them, please. And just think about that. Now, the next one is sort. Sort your items into one location. So the client that I had, we took those photos from her computer and we put them in the one location that we have for her. You already probably have your photos in Google Photos, in Amazon Photos, and Apple, but there's sorting devices and apps that you can use like Forever, SmugMug, Mylio that are really good for doing different things with your photos. And so you might want to look into that and see in your project if this is one of the tools that you want to use for your toolbox of projects. Now, separate and dedupe, because remember, delete is not a dirty word. Now you can do it multiple ways also. You can duplicate photo remover programs you could do. You could download your phone photos to your computer and delete that way. There's some for on your phone. There's also a delete section in each of your Android and iPhones, and we're going to go over that in a moment. And then there's a wonderful program called Ollie AI Photo Organizer that I have a lot of fun with. I actually have helped Ollie set up, and I have worked with them. In fact, I was in a meeting with them earlier today, and it is a wonderful tool where AI can help you pick out those duplicate photos. And here's an example of what Ollie kind of looks like on your phone. So you have your photos, and I'd like this one. I want these to go to the trash. And it helps you understand your photos a little bit more. And it's a wonderful program. Again, there's a link in the information that I have prepared for you today. But if you want to look that up, you can also try a free version just for a while to find out if you like it. But I love Ollie. She's so cool. And safety and save. Now, you want to keep your photos safe with a 3-2-1 backup system. Well, what do we mean by that? Well, what we as photo organizers and people in the industry believe is your phone and your photos and your files need to be kept in 3 different places: 3 copies of your data, 1 primary, and 2 backup. 2, store your copies on 2 different media types, and also store 1 in offsite storage. Now, I use Backblaze for my computer. It just automatically backs it up. I don't think about it. I don't do anything. Many photo managers use it. And I have found it to be a wonderful tool. I have deleted files I wasn't aware of and was able to go back and get them. I don't want anything to happen to the project that you're working on. So make sure that you keep your backup of your phone, use the 3-2-1 backup system, and you'll be successful and never lose any of your photos. The fun part, albums. I love albums. So we have albums on your phone, and albums are the best way for you to get organized with your photos. So you'll go into your photos, you'll sort them. Let's say you had a vacation in Savannah, Georgia, and you're putting all of your photos in that particular album on your phone. So then maybe you make a photo book. Just think about it, the difference between having photos and you're looking it on your phone and you're scrolling and being able to look at it in a photo book because you got organized. And that is incredible. And we know you can do hard things, so we can do that. Also, it'll help you find your photos when you are looking at your albums. If you are going with your family somewhere, you can look at the album of where you, like Savannah, or when you took a trip, or maybe it is a work related thing and you have all your photos from that particular project that you were working on. So albums are the way to go to really, really help you delete. And then we have our Galaxy and our phone here for your Android. What you would do with that is you can go to your gallery or your phone and be able to go to that with your phone. And if you press the plus button, it will add an album to, and also select in your 3 bars. We call it the hamburger. Go to the hamburger there and you can pick select. And that's one of the ways that you can delete. And we're going to go into that just a little bit more in a second using an iPhone screen. But in a basic way, they're all the same. So you go to your photos on your, in this particular case, iPhone, and this person has their albums. And when you go to the bottom, after you go to your photos, you'll see library, for you, albums, and search. Go to the third one that says albums and click on that. And you're going to go to this page right here. Now, if you want to add albums so you can become delete and also coordinate and organize your photos, then you just press the plus button and you can add an album. You can also hit the heart in the button and be on your photos and be able to hit it on your favorite. So if there's a special photo that you really enjoy or you really want to look at it later, you can hit the favorite and you can find it super, super fast. Now, if you scroll up on the iPhone a little bit, you'll see the shared albums, you'll see people, pets, and places, and then you'll also see the search button. So the search button will allow you to search the features that you might want to be looking for. For instance, let's say you were at a baseball game. If you hit search and look at baseball, AI will identify those pictures and pull up all the baseball pictures. If you're looking under shared albums, those are albums that you can share with other individuals. Let's say you go on a trip and everybody can share their photos into this shared album. I want to let you know, though, that if you have photos in that album that somebody else has, it's in the cloud and you're looking at it. It is not on your phone. So if you really like one of those pictures, you just save it to your own phone and you'll be able to create a book or do whatever you want with it. People and places, this is a wonderful tool to be able to find the people in your photos through facial recognition. So if you were looking for your pet or your best friend, and you could go in, press that button, and you'll see a myriad of pictures that you can select with the different people. So those are some things for that screen. And then if you scroll up scroll up so you go down even more, you will see media types. Wow, there's a lot there. So when you're deleting, what you can do in under media types is in this person's screen, there are videos, selfies, et cetera, et cetera. And this particular person has 653 videos. If you press that button, it will show all 653 videos. So if you wanted just to go in and delete videos one day, you could do live chats one day, you could do screenshots one day, and you could, that way you're targeting a specific kind of photo or a specific media, and it might make it a little bit easier for you. So that's one way we can do it. Again, I'm scrolling up a little bit and I get to utilities. And then there's some way cool stuff in utilities that'll help you delete. Number one, utilities shows duplicates. And what that means is the phone itself identifies the two photos that are the same and says, hey, do you want to merge these photos? And I'm going to give you an example of that. And also, some people really don't like to delete because they're afraid, like, oh, what if I accidentally delete a photo that I really wanted? What happens to it? It goes into your recently deleted files. And what that means is that it's held there for 30 days. So if you accidentally delete, it's not deleted. You can just go into your recently deletes, find it, and put it back in your camera roll. No big deal. So you don't have to be afraid that you're going to lose something quickly and you'll never be able to get it back if you're going through and doing this project of getting stuff deleted. Now, how to delete phones on your iPhone. This is an example of if I press that duplicate button, this is one of the things that comes up, and this is the screen. So what it does is it allows you to look at both of those photos, and you can hit that merge button. And one of the things, if you can't see it, duplicates are classified both as exact copies, and they may have different metadata, as well as the photos may appear to be the same. It might have different resolution, it might be a stronger one, but it is the same photo. So you can look in that and you can press on it and actually see it too. So you've got lots of options with that, but it's one of the easy ways to look at your duplicates. In an iPhone and an Android both have this. All righty, now we have done our albums. We're going through our albums. We have clicked on our 2024 flower pictures in our album, and we want to delete some of those pictures. So what you do is you hit the select button, then you tap on any photo that you want to delete. Now, let's say I want to delete a lot of them. All I have to do is do this. Don't take the finger off the screen, and all the photos that you do this to will have that little check mark. Then you hit the trash can, and those photos will be deleted. So select the button, tap on the photo to delete, and then hit the trash can icon, and those photos will be deleted and put in that delete file that's held for 30 days. Now, some of us might have a problem really doing this on our phone because our phones are really small. I highly recommend that you go and view your photos, phone photos on your computer. You can go to iCloud.com if you have an iCloud or Apple phone. You can go to Google Photos if you do Google, et cetera, and your pictures will be bigger, and that might help you a little bit because I don't want you to get frustrated doing this with those small photos. So just another little tip. Now we're going to talk about some tools for your toolbox in reference to doing this project. One of the tools that I have in my toolbox is a Forever account. Forever is a company that is a photo storage company. You can also buy space to put on your photos. I love it because I have albums all over my Forever account, and I share my albums, certain albums, with my family, and it helps me sort. I'm an ambassador Forever. but I really like it because it's very clean, it's easy to understand, and it's a really good tool for your toolbox. Another tool that you might be interested in is Projector. Now, what in the world is Projector? Well, the photo managers have really worked with Projector, and Robert is a great guy, and he has developed basically a Netflix for your videos and your old movies. Well, what do I mean? Well, I like I might be in Savannah taking pictures on the vacation and want to show people my videos that I took of the downtown Savannah or the Riverwalk, whatever it is. And I don't want to get my computer out. I can show them on my television screen. I can also show all my old movies. And this is basically what it looks like. This is my projector screen. So it's got some old videos, it's got some new videos, and I'm able to sit in my living room and share this with my family and friends, and we can laugh and have a good time. And I did it on a family reunion, and I just had videos going the whole time, and it was great. So that's one of the tools. And our last tool for our toolbox is Artifacts. Again, a company that we've worked with, and they are phenomenal. But Artifacts is a little bit different. The thing I love about Artifacts is photos can't talk. They can't tell you things about themselves. But Artifacts helps you have that conversation with the photo. And you're thinking, this woman is out of her mind. What is she talking about? Well, let me show you. So this is an example of my artifacts page. And this is an example of one of the things that I have artifacted, which you've already met my grandma Nellie. This is a picture of her when she graduated from Broughton Hospital Nursing School in 1922. I have a QR code on the back of this. And if my daughter ever wants to know about that photo, then I have all this stuff written out. I've done it verbally. I've also done it printed wise, where I could tell her about this photo. What I wish I had, unfortunately, my grandmother's passed now, but what I wish I'd done is I wish that I had recorded her talking about how she felt when she graduated from nursing school. And that could be part, because a recording can be a part too. So this is a wonderful tool for your toolbox. You can put your photos in here. You can put your items. It doesn't have to be photos. It can be a ring. It can be whatever. And information can be put in there. But again, it's just another tool for you to know about that. Since you're working on this project, I wanted to give you as many things as possible to be able to help you. So let's review real quick. And then I know we've got questions, so I want to be able to do this fast. So safety on your phone. Set your goals and deadlines, select the items for your project, sort the items in one place, separate and dedupe, save your photos. Remember, we want them safe, so use that 3-2-1 backup system. And as I say, the best part is sharing your hard work with your family and friends. So let us get started, and I will stop sharing, and we will get to see. And we have about 75% of our people today, Cathi, are iPhone users.
That would have been me. Those are some great tips there, Kimberly. That I was, of course, doing what you knew we would do. Then I got lost for a moment. I was like, wait a minute. Well, I was like, so let's go ahead and Rebecca, are you going to put up some of our questions?
Yeah,
here?
she does the magic.
I know. Sometimes I love she does this.
Let's see. Sometimes my iPhone shows me albums it has created for a trip or a person. How do I save it as an album? Well, sometimes my iPhone shows me an album.
Just did that. I know what she means.
Oh,
yeah. You know how it kind of. I just saw, like, here are pictures of Levi, which is a friend of mine's husband. I was surprised. Yeah.
So what you'll do, okay, it happened to me the other day, actually, and it was the trip to Savannah. I made that album for, and I sent it to my husband. All you need to do, you'll see the save button, and you can hit that, and it will save it to your camera roll so that you can have that later. And in fact, you can share it too. I shared it with my husband to remind him that we were in Savannah 3 years ago today, or yesterday, as a matter of fact. So that's one thing you can do. And I know that this will be watched after this live version too. So if somebody wants to put their questions in the chat, even after we haven't here, people come on and answer that too. So we want to make sure that you have the easiest time possible with your project.
And
I have a
I'll read
problem.
it for you just to help you not have to like look at. So
Super.
so Diane says, I have a problem with syncing my phone to my computer. Any solutions?
And
I'm gonna.
you can different phones, i.e. Android and iPhones, take different methods. You can definitely download from an iPhone, or if you have an Android and you use Google Photos, you can use Google Takeout, or you can, what I've done with clients too is make photos by year, and just each year I download the photos. And there was 5, 6, sometimes a couple thousand photos in each of those. So that's 2 different ways that you could do that depending on your phone. And you can Google it and it'll give you some answers with your particular phone.
What are ways to leverage SmugMug with a group's photo collection? Marlene asked.
The SmugMug is again, just to go over for everybody in case, because we went over a whole lot of stuff. SmugMug is one of the tools that you can use for your toolbox to be able to coordinate and share. So you can create albums in SmugMug and share them, different albums, not all of them. You can pick certain albums to share with different groups. And that's a wonderful way to do that. You could do it in Mylio, you could do it in Forever, where you have decided who is able to look at those different photo collections that you have.
If I have pictures of my insurance card, which that I saved in a locked note, would this go into the cloud where others can see it?
To see a photo that has been locked. So there is a, remember when we went over and we were at utilities and it had deleted items and it had duplicates. There's also a special folder there for locked items. And what that means is that to view it, you have to have a code that you have given that particular photo. So if it's in the cloud, no one can open it without the code.
Do you recommend organizing, deleting on the phone completely first before uploading into the computer? I think that is my issue. I dump it all into my Mac iPhoto and then shut down from overwhelm. Yes, Aleda, we understand.
Overwhelmed. It's the biggest word. You know, it's not intuitive on how you should organize photos, because you get there and you're like, this is too many. I mean, I've had clients have 35,000 photos. So I completely understand. What I would recommend in this particular case, do you recommend deleting? It depends on your phone versus the computer. It depends on what you're comfortable with. Some people are much more comfortable being able to enlarge their screen and do it on the computer. And some people are just fine with their phone. It's really where you feel comfortable, because you're going to be working with those photos for quite a period of time.
And, you know, I mean, I know you mentioned this too, but just that question too, deleting on the phone before uploading. I mean, if like I just took a bunch of photos this morning, I took a walk and the sunrise was just spectacular. And I took a crazy number, but I already went in just when we were talking. I knew I needed to, even when I was taking them, I knew that I needed to go back in and delete them, because I really enjoyed the process of taking it. It was a beautiful morning. I wanted to send some friends, but I know I don't need, 15 photos of the sunrise on August, whatever today is, yeah.
Thank you, Kathy. You reminded me of something I meant to challenge everybody about. Pick a delete day. Now, everybody's different, so I'm gonna give you a couple options. I delete every Sunday. Sometime on Sunday, I go through the past 7 days and I go through my camera roll and I delete the photos I don't need, the 5 pictures of the birthday cake or whatever it is. Now, but some people that might be overwhelming. So the 1st and the 15th, just go through, and if you do it on the 15th and the 1st, you're only deleting 15 days of photos. So that's not that many, but just make it a habit of deleting at a certain day, at a certain time, or a certain period, or when I'm waiting in the line, the carpool line, and I'm sitting there for an hour and a half waiting, whatever it is, just think about it. Because what our challenge is, again, like we talked about, we used to have, a regular schedule of what we did with our photos, and now we don't. So that's why we have so many photos, is we don't delete.
All right. Would you use all 3 programs? Mary asked her, just pick one. I don't want to put pictures in several different places. I think she must mean, what did you talk about? Forever, Milio, and
I would absolutely pick one. And again, all those links to all those are in the document on my website that you can get, no biggie. Absolutely pick one, because you want to put all those photos in there and then work only with those photos. You'll be totally confused if you have all 3. So that was a really smart one, Mary. Absolutely.
if I put pictures in a new album, how can I delete them from the recents?
It is such a great question, Diane. Okay, you can't. So recents are kind of like your library. That's another word to put it, or your gallery if you have a phone. So all the photos are there, right? If you put a photo, let's say I have my Savannah pictures that we've already talked about, and I have an album of my trip to Savannah. They're also in my recents. But I also take art photography, and so maybe I have a folder that says art photography. I want you to know that when you take your photos and you put them in more than one folder, it does not increase the size of your camera roll or how much bandwidth you use on your phone. It's the same amount whether you have it in one folder or 5. Don't ask me how, because I'm not that good, but I have spoken with the expert and he told me that. So you can delete them from your album if you decided, I don't want that picture from Savannah, but it's still on your camera roll. If you choose, now it does give you the option when you're in your album, delete it from the album or just delete it, and you can choose from that.
Derek asked, if I delete an image from my phone, will it automatically delete from iCloud, or will remain unless I delete it there too?
Okay. So when you have a phone, and let's use iPhone as our example, and you have your phone, you have your iPad, and you have the cloud. What that is doing is syncing to all 3 of these devices. And when you delete it from your phone, it should delete it from the cloud. So it's syncing to the cloud constantly. But you have this old iPhone, right? You haven't used it in a while. It's sitting over there. And then a year later, you open that iPhone that has all those old pictures and it starts syncing again. Guess what? Those photos are going to sync because you didn't delete it and it wasn't viable when you were syncing. So what I want you to do, if you do sync and you have an old iPhone or iPad, is make sure that you've got all those devices and that you're constantly syncing them. And so that way, if you happen to open that later, because you don't use your iPad that much, then it will sync and they will all be copacetic together.
Yeah.
Syncing.
And the answer too, though, is yes. If you delete it from your phone, it will be deleted from all the other, because your iCloud is it's not a backup unless you're
right.
You have
and remember too, I highly recommend that you download the photos to your computer, because you don't own the photos if they're in the cloud. You don't own them. They're in the cloud, but do you have a physical copy? No. So I like to have a physical copy. So I routinely download, and I keep a 3-2-1 backup system to make sure that I always have my photos.
Right. I have my little I can't show, but I have my little hard drive attached to my computer right here, right, so that I'm backing up onto my external hard drive too. So anything, if worse came to worse, they're there because I put them there as well. So,
Yeah.
Mary asks, is there a way to lock a photo on an Android, or is that just on an iPhone?
Google it. And because also the Samsung might be different than another Android, et cetera, et cetera. So because they each have slightly different versions. And remember that also you might have a phone that is 3 or 4 years old, and somebody might have a phone that they just got last week, and it could be somewhat different. So when you go in and you are Googling it, try to be as specific as possible. I have a Samsung Galaxy XYZ number, and how do I lock the photo?
Right.
And that should help. These are great questions, y'all. Y'all are doing so good. This is fabulous.
What external hard drive? I was just thinking, I have a Samsung stainless steel drive on here. That's what I'm using.
Yes.
I don't know what you, I mean, I think they're Samsung, they're.
Yeah. Western Digital is what there's multiple ones that you can buy. It just depends on your need. And now you can get a 5 terabyte drive that has more capacity than the one they sent into the spaceship in the moon.
I say it would have been like the size of my office right now. Like 20, right? It's crazy. And now it's like a matchbook, right? Derek asks, what are your thoughts about the cleanup app for the iPhone? It's one of the tools that you discuss share to do the same thing, or is it better at the cleanup process?
I like Ollie. I've worked with the company. I have met the guy who started the company, and they're phenomenal marketing person. And I trust them because I've gone through the process with them, and I've given them. In fact, as I said, I was in a meeting with them earlier today, and we went over, do you like this? Do you like this? And they listen to the photo managers when we give us feedback, because we're dealing with people who are dealing with Ollie all the time.
Talk about deduplicating apps, Mary says.
So some of them are on your phone, like Ollie can help you with that. Some you download and you dedupe on your computer. It's really what your education, your time, your energy, your money, it's really that. So I would just research and say, what do you feel comfortable doing? And then that way you get what's right for you and your time frame.
Claire asks, can I delete from imports but still have it in my library?
If it's in your library, it's in your recents. And if it depends on how it came in and whether you saved it, because it might, oh, good. Okay. It might, I would look at both places because it depends on how it came in. Yeah. And I think that's our last question. So I do want to say, if you want to get the information, you just go to my website. I'm happy to help. The thing is, my grandmother instilled in me about how fabulous photos are and how they can tell a story. And I want y'all to be able to share the vacation that you turned last year. So there's a lot more than you can do with your photos than just leave them on your phone. So let's get them deleted. Let's get them cleaned up and make photo books and have fun with your photos again.
Right. I mean, I'm listening to these questions too. I think no wonder why. I mean, this is why there's a profession of photo managers too. The technology, it just keeps changing. And then there's like, which bright, shiny object do I run after? Right. There's, right. And that's what Kimberly's right. Like there's a lot, we get overwhelmed even at the photo managers, because companies come to us all the time when they create new technology and they want us to look at it. And we work really hard on vetting these companies. So like Kimberly's mentioned Ollie, we've put a lot of time in with Ollie. Ollie comes to our conference. They're really committed to listening to us. So that's why we've kind of vetted them, right? We know that we can recommend them. So I think, but pick one that you're going to work with and then get to know that one, because otherwise it's just, it's just too much.
It's overwhelming. Laura asked a question I don't think we put up, and I thought it was a great question, so I do want to answer it. Several of my pairs of duplicates have different sizes. How do I know which one to keep? Which is a great question, the biggest one, because it's going to have it has a better size. Another tip in duplicates is, please understand that Facebook is no place to keep photos. And when you put something on Facebook, they minimize it. So it's this little teeny picture. And if you take it out, it is not as good as the photo that you took on your camera. Also, if you're going to send someone a photo that you really like that person's going to print it out, they really love it, they're going to do something with it, please email the photo. Do not text it. Again, when you text a photo, it decreases in size. But when you email it, it gives you the option to save at the highest resolution, and then the person can use it to print it out or those types of things. So
yeah, that's great advice. That's a really good.
There's always something, isn't it? It's so hard to do in an hour.
This has been great. I mean, thank you so much, Kimberly. I think we're getting a lot of thank yous already. People follow Kimberly. She's wonderful. Remember to like our video if you've enjoyed this, subscribe to our channel, and share it with others. And then comment even with, if you have further questions and things like that. All of that is helpful. We also have Save Your Photos Month coming up. So we will be doing 2 YouTube lives a week so there's 8 different YouTube live events that we will be bringing to you, including a meeting with I've asked our partners that we like, Ollie and all the different ones that we work so closely with. They'll be doing one of the last ones. I think somebody asked, do we have contact information for Ollie? And I think that's in the handout, right? You probably have the link right there for Ollie. Yeah.
I do.
You can download it. It's really inexpensive. It's an app on your, on your iPhone. But anyway, we're excited for the month of September. So you'll be able to see quite a bit of us. You can go ahead to the Save Your Photos Month website, or to our website, and register today for Save Your Photos Month. So you'll get the notices. I think, Rebecca, do you have, if you just go to the Photo Managers and sign up there, there you go. There's all the different classes.
It's a great month.
It's going to be a busy month full of things. But again, the good news now about YouTube is that they will be there even if you can't make it live. So that's and the newsletter is there in the chat. You should be able to see the newsletter for Kimberly's newsletter. I guess we'll have Rebecca drop it there one more time. There you go. Thank you, Rebecca. Good job. And I think that's it for us. So Laura talked about making a photo album of her mom for Mother's Day.
Oh.
Physical albums are wonderful. And one of the things I've been promoting to people too is, we have way too much. I mean, I'm not going to assume that you're not like me, but I'm going to assume that you are actually, is that we have way too much screen time, right? And, we're all trying to maybe a little less screen time. And, looking at photos is one of the things we do a lot on our screens, but putting them in an album and actually holding a book, especially for kids, we're trying to get kids to have spent less time on their screens. So if you have nieces or nephews or children of your own, create a little photo book for them. So,
absolutely.
Cathi, hold a book in their hand.
You were so right. And just think about it. If you don't share your photos with our younger people in our families, they're never going to know the stories. So that's one of the great things. You can flip through them. You can tell them the stories. This is wonderful, but it's just not as good.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we get mad at them when they're, like teenagers or preteens, and they're constantly on their devices, like, get off your device. But we were handing it to them when they were like 2 and 3, because they wanted to look at their photos. Right. So, all right, I'll end right there. So thank you again so much, Kimberly, for an amazing presentation.
It was a pleasure.
And have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.